The giant earthquakes that we just witnessed in Turkey are just the beginning. And we had the 7.8, 9 hours later the 7.6, and the geologists said that they were not aftershocks. They were, the two of them, both of them were main earthquakes. Michael Snyder reports the complete and utter devastation that we're seeing in Turkey right now should break all of our hearts. Hundreds of buildings have collapsed and thousands upon thousands of victims and injured, trapped under the rubble. Well, yesterday afternoon, I read an article that the president of Turkey, Erdogan, came out and said over 2,800 buildings had collapsed. The magnitude 7.8 earthquake hit Turkey early Monday in the early hours of the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. The largest earthquake in that region has experienced in a century. Sadly, that giant quake was followed by a relentless series of aftershocks that included another giant quake. The shaking continues even as I write this article, he says, and there are some parts of Turkey that will never be the same again. After this, of course. Back on January 4th, I warned that 2023 would be the year of great natural disasters. And unfortunately, that is exactly what is happening. Our planet continues to become even more unstable, and we've been witnessing large earthquakes and major volcanic eruptions occurring with a frequency that is quite alarming. The magnitude 7.8 earthquake that just struck Turkey is the most deadly seismic event that we've seen so far this year. It's being reported that it could actually be felt all the way in Greenland. Tremors from the powerful earthquake that rocked Turkey and neighboring Syria on Monday were felt as far away as Greenland, the Geological Survey of Denmark and Greenland said. The large earthquakes in Turkey were clearly registered on the seismographs in Denmark and Greenland, seismologist Tine Larsen told AFP. He said, I was stunned. Michael says, I was stunned when I first read this, as buildings fell down all around them. Some people in Turkey actually believed that Judgment Day had arrived. As I write this article, we're being told that there were victims, but that the number will inevitably grow larger. Now, at least in Turkey, the entire apartment blocks crashed to the ground in rubbles in a matter of seconds following the quakes, trapping families inside. According to reports from the region, the magnitude 7.8 earthquake caused approximately 90 seconds of shaking. That's a minute and a half. And social media is filled with videos of tall buildings collapsing into heaps in just moments. Now, what we know is, my comment here is that in such big earthquakes, the cement turns into dust. It pulverizes the cement, so the building can't stay up anymore. Now, subsequently, going back to this, a series of large aftershocks did even more damage. The largest was magnitude 7.5, that was originally reported to be magnitude 7.7. That jolted Turkey, and even more huge earthquakes followed that one, and even more buildings fall, because, of course, the original big earthquake has traumatized the buildings, so a smaller aftershock can bring them down. That's my comment. Now, I have never seen anything quite like this, he said. There have been more than 60 large earthquakes in the region so far, and countless numbers of people trapped under the rubble, hoping that rescuers can get them out in time. Victims trapped, collapsed buildings, pleading for help. Heartbreaking photos and videos on social media. Emergency services pulling the bodies out. Unfortunately, this is just the beginning. One seismologist named Tyler Metcalf is warning that we could see a whole lot of shaking all over our planet in the next few days. So seismologist Tyler Metcalf says we'll see a lot more earthquakes in the next few days all over the planet. Seismologist Tyler Metcalf explains what's likely to happen now. He says the big earthquakes in Turkey have likely led to destabilization of fault lines all across the world. There could be many earthquakes in many areas across the world over the next few to several days. Metcalf's warning is based on an Oregon State University study that discovered that a major earthquake in one part of the globe can cause larger earthquakes in other parts of the globe. But the OSU analysis of seismic data from 1973 to 2016, an analysis that excluded data from aftershock zones using larger time windows than in previous studies, provided discernible evidence that in the 3 days following one large quake, other earthquakes were more likely to occur. Each test case in the study represented a single 3-day window injected with a large magnitude 6.5 or greater earthquake, suspected of inducing other quakes, and accompanying each case was a control group of 5,355 3-day periods that did not have the quake injection. The test cases showed a clearly detectable increase over background rates, said the study's corresponding author, Robert O'Malley, a researcher in the OSU College of Agricultural Sciences. He said earthquakes are part of a cycle of tectonic stress buildup and release. As fault zones near the end of the seismic cycle, tipping points may be reached and triggering can occur. The higher the magnitude, the more likely a quake is to trigger another earthquake. Higher magnitude quakes, which have been happening with more frequency in recent years, also seem to be triggered more often than low magnitude quakes. Speaking of large earthquakes in other parts of the globe, we just witnessed the largest earthquake that Buffalo area has had in 40 years, and I did post a video on that. There was also, in my comment here, there was also engineers who had a press conference saying that there are buildings that have to be structurally reinforced because the eastern United States feels the earthquakes there 10 times more than they're felt in the West Coast. Now, the 3.8 magnitude earthquake struck Monday morning near Buffalo, New York, the area around Niagara Falls, and the strongest record recorded in the area in 40 years. The quake hit 1.24 miles east-northwest of West Seneca, New York, at a depth of only 1.86 miles, around 6:15 a.m., according to the United States Geological Survey. Yes, this is really happening. As I discuss in my latest book, we're entering an era where there will be extremely powerful earthquakes in diverse places. Our planet has never been a particularly stable place, and now it is becoming a lot less stable. There will be many more major geophysical events in 2023 and beyond, and the devastation that we'll see and the catastrophe will be absolutely staggering. But most people don't want to hear this. What most people want to hear is that everything is going to be just fine. I could tell you that, but it wouldn't be true. What we just witnessed in Turkey is just the beginning, because even greater shaking is on its way. It's finally here. Michael's new book entitled End Times is now available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. This is written by Michael Snyder. This is about the author. My name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this About the Author section with each article. The material contained in the article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you've not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box